are on Business Review Africa. Today I'll be speaking with Barrister FESTUS ADEBAYO, who is the CEO and organizer of Abuja International Housing Show. Today he's going to speak with us about the housing scheme in Nigeria and of course his preparation for the 5th edition of Abuja International Housing Show. Planning to have the 15th edition of Abuja International Housing Show. I would like you to speak to us about it. What is it all about, and what's the idea behind Abuja Housing Show?
Yes, thank you, Hene. It's my pleasure to be on this very important program. Abuja International Housing Show is the largest housing event, stakeholders event in Africa. The 15th edition will be coming up on 26th to 29th of July 2021 at International Conference Center, Abuja. As I said, 15th edition. It connotes that this program will be coming up for the 15th time this year. Last year it was a virtual edition, as we all know what is going on in the world. And this 16th edition, some of our stakeholders around the world who are not in Africa, who may not be able to come in due to the policies of the government at present, may also join us via virtual during the event. Abuja International Housing Show is where the stakeholders meet every year to discuss issues relating to housing and construction industry. It is where they provide solutions to problems affecting the sector. It is where they meet to interact. It is where they meet to network. It is where those who are into building materials, technology, new ideas, new innovation, go to showcase their projects, showcase their product and services, and at the end of the day, make sales at the venue. The idea behind Abuja International Housing Show is to create a platform where stakeholders meet annually, exchange ideas, interact, network, and move the sector forward.
So what do you intend to do differently this year? Because I think I've attended one or twice. What do you intend to do differently this year, considering the COVID-19 and all the issues confronting, let's even come back to Nigeria, confronting the nation at the moment? What exactly are you looking at doing differently this year?
As you might have observed, the cost of building materials has gone up astronomically in the last two months. It is a painful development that is rooted in the situation of the exchange rate of Naira, which has seriously been affecting some of the building materials, the majority of which we are always importing from outside the country. So that's a serious matter confronting the sector. Abuja International Housing Show is bothered and worried about this, and it's one of the areas we are going to look into what is the way out of it. And now the COVID has just passed serious messages to us, to the whole world. The housing is key. Housing is important. They came up with the policy of social distancing. They came up with the idea of wash your hand. This exposed the failure of government in the area of giving housing a serious attention. Some families during the COVID sit in a room. How would they obey the social distancing rule? Some people are living, majority, in many parts of Nigeria, in the rural area. A good number of people are living in slum, even in urban cities. They don't have access to water. How would they wash their hands? These are issues Abuja International Housing Show is going to consider the future of housing and at post-pandemic era. This will be our focus, and it will enable us to advise the government on what they need to do, state government, federal government, countries around the world, as people will be coming from different countries. Nothing less than 16 countries have already confirmed participation, and nothing less than 36 international speakers have also confirmed participation. Nothing less than 300 exhibitors from different countries. Unfortunately, some of our exhibitors from China, some of our exhibitors from India will not be able to join us this year. But we shall be having a video conferencing with them during the course of the program, as we'll be having some people, professionals in Nigeria, who may be interested in their products, having a face-to-face interaction with them via video conferencing for them to discuss their products, and for the professionals in Nigeria to also tell them some of the things they will need. And I must also let you know that this year Abuja International Housing Show has introduced a new innovation to address the problem of affordable housing. There will be a youth competition on affordable housing design. The youth can do it. It is time for us to begin to think of how we can recruit them, how we can catch them young and begin to teach them about real estate. And on that note, the competition has started. Schools from various parts of the country have started registering to come up with the designs. This idea is supported by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, it's supported by Family Home Fund, it's supported by Nigeria Mortgage Finance Company, it's supported by the federal government of Nigeria. This is our own little way of contributing to the delivery of affordable housing in Nigeria. I must tell you that this program is having the technical coordination and support of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, the Federal Capital Territory chapter. So, and beyond that, Abuja International Housing Show this year will be having days for professional bodies, Nigerian Town Planners Day, the Architect Day, the Builders Day, the Quantity Surveyors Day. It's a place you must be. It's a place where you must get to know the latest development in that sector called housing and construction industry.
That's very interesting. Okay, I will just read out some statistics because we know that housing is one of the basic needs of human, of man rather. In 2007, Nigeria housing deficit was 12 million and 14 million in 2010. Now, research has shown that Nigeria is likely going to have a housing deficit of 25 million by the end of 2021. So what do you think the government of Nigeria should be looking at, during these housing issues, or what should they be addressing in terms of housing deficit that we already have, which has been going on for a very long time?
Yes, what we have observed to be the problem is that while Nigerian population has been increasing, we have been reproducing geometrically. Nothing has been done in the area of providing shelter for those generations that are graduating from this small age to a level of youth and to the level of the adults. So it becomes a problem. The way out of this, I'm sure the government is aware that this problem of housing is a serious problem. Let me tell you why housing should be addressed. Housing all over the world is a major contributor to the GDP. Check America's GDP. Check Canada GDP. Check UK, advanced country GDP. But in Nigeria, the housing and construction industry is not even contributed up to 5% in the GDP. That's too bad. And The importance of housing to mankind cannot be overemphasized. On any particular estate, you see different categories of people that be working in the area of either as a carpenter, either as a bricklayer, either as a welder, even a person riding Okada to the site is also making money. So, beyond that, the professionals are involved. Starting from the level of the town planner, who made available the land, to the level of the architect, who is involved in the designing of the house, to the level of the builder, and the QS. The QS is bringing the costing, and to the level of the builder, is in charge of the management of the building of the houses. You will discover that housing is a job creator. And beyond that, and I tell you, a man who has his house, a full family, we have a family, and a man who has a house and has a family will not want to go and do a crime that will make him to die. Indirectly, we are saying that once people don't have hope of owning a house, of getting a better life, they resort to crime because they have nothing to lose. That to lose the shame of poverty that is tying them down. I must make it known to you also that there's a correlation between housing and productivity. The person slept very well in a beautiful house. When he gets to a place of work, we contribute productively. The person who slept under the bridge, I can assure you, when he gets to the office, he will be yanny. If you're not careful, he's likely to sleep on duty. Similarly, there's a correlation between housing and health. When you live in a good environment where mosquitoes will not finish you, you will not have malaria, you will not be sick. But when you sleep in a slum where things are not working, the possibility of you going to hospital all the time is very likely. In essence, what I'm saying is, if government create more interest, if government develop political will to do much for housing, job will be created. If government do more in housing, the amount of money spending on bills for hospitals will also go down. So therefore, look at what is happening in Nigeria today, where the government is coming up with anchor borrowers scheme. A government can also develop a political will to improve housing delivery, especially in the area of social housing. Social housing are a style of housing development when government is assisting, providing subsidy, providing support for those who does not have the right capacity to build those houses. Government have to cater for them. So, we need political will at this post-COVID era to address the issue of housing. If really we want increase in productivity, if really we want employment for our youth, then housing is the way to go. Not only to the federal government, but the state government must lead. Thank you.
So what do you think, talking about political will, what do you think the government should do? Because it's a growing concern. Looking at the battered economy as a result of COVID-19, you have a situation where the landlord asking tenant to pay for 2 years. A lot of Nigerians at the moment can barely have 3 square meal. Talk more of having money to pay for 2 years. So, as an expert in the housing industry, what do you think the government should do? Should there be like a regulation or a bill should be passed at the National Assembly to ensure that at least the landlord they are more considerate in terms of asking for 2 years or 3 years or 5 years and all that? What's advice or what's your opinion about it?
The government can only control what belongs to them. If the landlord says, I want 2 years rent, and the government says, you can't pay, they should not pay more than 1 year rent, that has become a law, that's okay. But the landlord can also decide not to rent out his house. Once the supply is reduced the price will increase. That is the law of economics. So the best way to solve the housing crisis is not through these all sorts of regulations. You can regulate, but if you regulate, another problem will emerge. But the best way to do it is the government should also, on its own, show a political will in the area of access to land. There's no access to land in Nigeria. The land is in the hand of the state government. Even when the federal government want to build houses under National Housing Program, under the National Social Housing Program, they still have to appeal to the state government to give them land. Some of those lands, when they are given, some people will come up there and say they are the owner of the land. They need to be paid compensation. Their family need this, that, and the developer will have to pay. When the developer pay compensation, he will have to put the cost of the money he has spent on compensation on the cost of the houses. So, let government do something about access to land. The land use decree is no more helping. In fact, it's making the whole thing difficult. If my driver gets a land, he will build a house. It's either he start today, carry his wife, go there every weekend, call one bricklayer, and they are the ones serving with water. They are boss men. They will do it little by little, and they will build a room for themselves. A driver and his wife, a room. By the time they get a baby, they will move to 2 rooms. By the time they get another baby, they will move. It is going to take them 3 years, 4 years to achieve that. They achieve it. Access to land is key. Then the interest rate. Housing is capital intensive. When you go to the commercial bank, they give you an interest rate of 30%. It has never worked. Go abroad. It doesn't work that way. There's no access to mortgage. I mean, Nigeria can just go on the road and enter into a mortgage bank and tell them, I've seen a house at so, Juelegba, so in Port Harcourt, and therefore I want them. It is like as if we don't even have a mortgage system in Nigeria. So, until the government do something about that, and in fact, there are some laws that we need that will help our mortgage system to work, like foreclosure law. We don't have it. So, and that exactly is affecting the mortgage, because there's no foreclosure law that says that if Okon has been supposed to pay for 10 years and has paid for 8 years and he has refused to pay for the other years, that if they take him to court, that the court, there's no something like that. The other day we have to organize a seminar and workshop for the judges to update them on what is going on around the world, so that Nigeria will not be alone or will not be aback. So these are the things that the government need to do. Issue of interest rate must be looked into. Issue of access to land must be looked into. Issue of infrastructure must be looked into. A lot of houses being developed by estate developers don't have access road. Enter the estates, you can't see primary infrastructure. You can't see secondary infrastructure. It is an equivalent of a slum. It's a basic decent house must at least be able to protect the people living in the house. There must be security. All these are not there. So most of these houses you see are equivalent of a slum. If you look at the definition of the United Nations of what is a basic housing. So the government should do something about access to land, interest rates, provision of infrastructure, and do more in the area of PPP, creating an enabling environment, and let the houses be available. Once the supply for the houses, once you see it increasing, I can also let you know that the prices will come down. That's a simple law of economics.
Thank you very much. That was very inspiring. So is the Abuja International Housing Show, is it open for everyone?
Abuja International Housing Show requires registration so that we can regulate the coming in and coming out of people. For those thinking of how to own a house, that is where you must be. Just visit www.ihsabuja.com and register yourself. And then when you are coming in, the mail you received after registering, you bring it in. That is what we use to enter. The converter give you your own ID card that enable you to enter to visit the. So, but if you're not just coming as a visitor, you want to come to exhibit, great. Visit ihsabuja.com also. You have an opportunity to register for an exhibition, or you want to sponsor the whole program, visit ihsabuja.com. It's also. I hope I'm not advertising.
Okay, thank you so very much. It was really refreshing speaking with you. Thank you. So that is it with Barrister Festus, the housing show master in Abuja, or Africa, as you might like to put it. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye for now.